Hey guys, I just ate Chipotle and I'm feeling emotional. Seriously. Um, Also, Wednesdays suck. Like, I am just so done with this week. Does anyone even like Wednesdays? So, yeah, I actually had Chipotle for dinner. True story. Super interesting. And yeah, I am feeling very emotional. So, today's episode, uh, I don't know where the emotions are going to go. But I did want to talk about the lovely topic of rejection. Woo! Yes! Rejection. So fun. Um, so, first and foremost, before I even start talking about rejection, there's always those people that like pretend that they don't know what rejection feels like or they've never experienced rejection. Um, I feel like those people need to like find a seat and like maybe not because everyone knows what rejection feels like, at least in one area of their lives or another. It's just something that is part of life. Like you can't live your life without rejection. Like even like supermodels and A-list celebrities have had rejection. Like it's just if you're human, you've been rejected at one point or in one circumstance. You just have. So yeah, I think I want to sort of gear this more towards like relationship rejection, even though all types of rejection are kind of related. Um, but I had an sort of like an epiphany with my therapist before I had to fire him because things got a little weird. But I just had this moment, like an aha moment, I guess, as Oprah says, was an aha moment. Like I was like, whoa, I never thought of it that way before. And it happened when I had first started dating after I had broken up from my long term relationship. This was like about 9 months ago, or 10 months ago, really. Wow. Um, and I was dating a lot, and of course, like, I was experiencing the lovely thing that we refer to as ghosting, which is really a form of rejection, if we're being honest. Um, and ghosting has been the funny thing about ghosting is that like now like ghosting sort of like a trending word or just like a trending thing to do in general. Like literally everyone is ghosting everyone. It's like another pandemic. Um, but it's funny because I had this conversation with my dad and he was like, ghosting's been around forever. Like it's not just like millennials doing it. Like granted back then it's like you called it being stood up, but like we've been ghosting each other like since the beginning of time. It's just recently that it's become like a buzzword and like, oh yeah, you ghosted me. But it's been going on forever. And rejection is just like duh, like rejection has always been a part of the dating experience, like no matter what time you come from. And so I was having a discussion with my therapist, not today, but I just randomly thought of it today. And we were talking about being ghosted and being rejected, especially being in the gay community. Dating apps can be extremely surface level, extremely superficial, very cutthroat. I'm not gonna try and sugarcoat it or romanticize online dating in the gay world. It's not easy. Um, so yeah, I was just venting, and the hard thing about rejection is that it's not like you lost a bid on eBay and you can just wait for another person to sell that same product, um, it's like you're losing a person. It's sort of like a form of grieving, depending on how invested you got in that person. I mean, if you just spoke for a day, then I think to say that you're grieving that person might be a bit much. But if you've been talking to that person, excuse me, oh, it's the Chipotle coming out. If you've been talking to that person for a while and they ghost you or they reject you, and there's nothing wrong with rejection, just as I've been rejected, I have done the rejecting. And neither are easy. One is not easier than the other. Contrary to what, I don't know, some people might think. Maybe people don't think this, but being the one rejecting is not easier than being rejected. Because I have been in a position where I was the one doing the rejecting, and it was really hard. It was not fun. And yeah, I cried for like days, because it doesn't matter. It's not, when you become invested in someone, it doesn't matter who's doing the boot. It's difficult. And my personality, also as a side note, it's a full moon, which is why I'm getting quite emotional. I'm having my gay menses. I have like this weird pimple right here that like really doesn't want to heal. Yeah, anyways, I'm wearing my homeless jacket. I call this my homeless jacket because I've had it since like high school, and it's literally falling apart at the seams, and it like looks like it's about to disintegrate. But it is very comfy, and it's always there when I need it. I have the curse and the bad habit of getting very attached to people, and I do wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm not scared of saying I love you to people, which really freaks people out. Like sometimes, like certain people, especially people who've been burned by an ex. I've never been burned by an ex or had like a really ugly breakup to the point where like I felt like my dating future was ruined. I've never had that before, like knock on wood. So I don't know what that feels like, but going into the dating world and getting to know these other guys and seeing them sort of just fall apart when they start talking about their ex. I mean, literally, I've had like guys start crying to me about their ex on a date, which is kind of awkward. I would not recommend anyone do that to anyone, but it happens. But yeah, it's like, it's interesting to see how other people deal with rejection, and it's hard when you have that tendency to really get attached to someone and you're not afraid to say things like I love you. Like I say I love you to like friends or just like anyone. If I feel like saying I love you, I say I love you. And it's not like some people, when they hear you say I love you, they take it as like a marriage proposal and they get like super freaked out. In my mind, it's like I love you means I love you. Like whatever, like you love someone in that moment, like say it. Like why not? I don't see it as a bad thing or like ooh, like I don't feel like I need permission to tell someone I love them. But not everyone views love that way. Some people, you say the word love and it like ruins their whole mood. But I do have that tendency to really get attached to people, and the part that is hardest for me when it comes to rejection is that it isn't like eBay. You're never gonna find that person again. You'll find another person, but you're never going to find that person. And I asked my therapist, I said, if only there was a way that I could just clone this person And that way I could still be with them and I wouldn't have to miss out on being a part of that person's life, and everything would be great. Like if I can only just find that person again and be with that person, all my problems would be solved. And my therapist said, which is obvious, but I needed to hear it apparently. He said, if you clone that person, instead of having one person rejecting you, you'll have two people rejecting you. Duh, right? But somehow I didn't think of it that way. And also as I like continue on my dating journey, because I fell into a long-term relationship, not super young, but pretty young when you consider how late I started dating. I didn't start dating until my early 20s. I did not date in high school and I did not date in college at all. Like, nada. All of those, like, crazy, like, college kid, like, hormones did not register in me until later in life, for better or for worse. So I didn't really have any dating experience. Even though I was in a long-term relationship, I did not have dating experience really at all. I was clueless. So as you can imagine, when that relationship ended, I had no idea what I was doing. And of course I got hurt many times and I got rejected many times. And I just always felt like it was a loss of life, almost like that person was dying because they were no longer in my life. And yeah, it's true. Someone's no longer in your life. That person technically is still alive, but in your mind, if they're not in your life, I mean, who's to say that they're still alive, right? Everything's perception. And if they're gone, it is like a death, because you don't see that person, you don't hear about that person, you think about that person, but do they exist anymore? So it is sort of like a grieving process, depending on the nature of the rejection or the breakup. You guys, it is such a full moon. I can't even like keep my mind straight during this video. But it brings me to the conclusion that why do we like people who don't like us? When I think about my dating tendencies, the guys that are like super into me, I'm not attracted to. There's something psychologically going on, and I'm sure it has to do with trauma or, who knows. But psychologically, I chase unavailable men. Like, I just do. It's just my tendency. I like to, I don't know what it is. It's like I don't like it, but somewhere in my subconscious, it's like I like the challenge of really efforting in my dating life, like trying to get someone's attention. When someone is like bathing me in attention and like they're super into me, when I'm online dating or chatting with people, meeting new people, I'm not attracted to it. I'm actually almost turned off by it. It's like I'm more inclined to chase after the person who talks to me as if I'm sort of like their plan B or their plan C. So, and you never want to be someone's plan B or plan C, really. But that is my tendency, and at least it's like I'm aware enough to realize that it's like, okay, I'm noticing a pattern here. Like, I go after men who are unattainable. Wouldn't recommend it. But it's just something that I'm noticing, and it's like, why do we like people who don't like us? And so I'm reaching this point in my dating journey where people who aren't attracted to me are becoming less and less attractive to me. If that makes sense. I feel like that didn't make any sense. Like, people, once I realize that someone is not attracted to me at this stage in my dating life, I actually am beginning to lose attraction in that person, because I'm realizing, and I feel like my mind is finally like maturing after getting beaten up so many times, and realizing that what's in it for me if I'm emotionally or even like physically invested in someone who doesn't like me? Like, why would I be attracted to that person? And when I view it that way, it's like I am starting to be unattracted to people who aren't attracted to me. And that's not to say like, oh, who wouldn't be attracted to me? That's not what I mean. It's not meant to come off as conceited, but when I realize that people aren't attracted to me, now that I've had so much experience with rejection, I mean, I'm like a black belt in dating rejection at this point. I mean, I just am. I'm that type of personality where it's like, if I like someone or if I have a crush on someone, it's not like a secret. I'm not like shy to say it or make it known. My face is like an open book. Everyone always knows what I'm thinking. Everyone always knows what I'm up to in here just by looking at my face. So yeah, I feel like, why be attracted to someone who's not attracted to you? I feel like if we can allow ourselves to realize that people who are not attracted to us are not attractive, we can learn to have like a healthier way of viewing our dating life and also taking things less seriously. I'm so tired of people taking dating so seriously. Like, why? Life isn't meant to be serious. Like, if life was meant to be serious, then nobody would laugh. Like, the word laugh wouldn't even be in the dictionary. Like, why do we have to take dating so seriously to the point where like we're like, some guys are like pissed off when I reach out to them, and I'm not doing anything crazy, I'm just saying hi, and they show up with an attitude almost like they're pissed that we're not a match. It's like, really? Like, I don't know. I feel like dating should really be more lighthearted and more fun. I don't think we need to take it so seriously. I really don't. And I think it's okay to allow yourself to lose attraction in someone. Sure, they can be super hot, but if they want nothing to do with you, really, you're attracted to someone who wants nothing to do with you. Like, when you think about it that way, it's like, maybe I'm not attracted to them. Like, why would you want that person in your life? It's like, oh my God, I totally want to hang out with someone who, like, literally wants nothing to do with me. Like, does anyone even think, like, we don't think that way. But when we lust after people who don't care about us, what we're saying is, I really want to spend time with someone who does not like me and does not have interest in me. And I think there's something very wrong with that train of thought. I don't know. I can't even like think right now. There's something wrong with that though. We shouldn't want to spend time with people who don't like us. Right? It's like, why? It's a waste of time. So anyways, I think that's sort of something that maybe you can let me know what you think. But the next time that you like someone and they don't like you back, maybe allow yourself to no longer be attracted to them. Because really, once you find out they don't like you, what's the draw in, you know? What, their muscles? Okay. You can look at those through pictures. Uh, Other than that, what's the takeaway that you're gonna get from spending time with that person? You know, of course, like what, physical takeaway? Okay. That will last, only so long. But then what? Um, I don't think that anyone, truthfully speaking, wants to hang out with someone who doesn't want anything to do with them. We like the idea of chasing things that we think are unattainable, but we don't like spending time with people who don't have our best interest at heart. We don't like that. So if we don't like it, maybe we should stop chasing it. And I honestly feel like I've been trying to do better at that. If someone doesn't like me, and even if they're like, I think they're like totally my type, totally into them, like physically speaking, or maybe I even think there's parts of their personality that I like, but hey, if they're saying it's not a match, I don't really want to fight that anymore, and I actually don't even really want to spend time with that person anymore or spend time on that person anymore. What's the point? I'm like I don't know. I hope that made sense. Like I said, I had Chipotle. I'm feeling emotional, and Wednesdays suck. Um, so that's that. And it's a wonderful full moon. So I hope everyone is enjoying their wild emotions, and wish me luck on getting through whatever I'm going through. My gay menses. It's just wreaking havoc, and Lord, please heal these like pimples. I have like one here and one here, and they're just like, they're coming through, and it's like a moment, but I'm not having the moment, so there's like a conflict going on my face. All right, I hope you guys have a good night. Bye.